teenage pregnancy, mitigating teenage pregnancy. First, what is teenage pregnancy? Teenage pregnancy is a sensitive yet huge issue circulating the internet nowadays. So, teenage pregnancy occurs when girls aged 20 below undergo pregnancy, or they get pregnant at a very young age. Next, according to the Commission on Population and Development, the Philippines has recorded a 7% increase in births among girls aged 15 and below in 2019, up from the figure on teenage pregnancies in 2018. So, they added in 2019 2,411 girls considered as very young adolescents aged 10 to 14 gave birth, or almost 7 every day. This was a threefold increase from 2000 when only 755 from the said age group gave birth. So, according to this study, teenage pregnancy increases or grows throughout the years. Next, let's talk about factors that affect or increase teenage pregnancy. First, absence of sex education. So, sex education teaches us how to avoid STDs, avoids us how to get pregnant. This involves practicing safe sex that may help the persons who are undergoing sexual intercourse to avoid pregnancy or diseases. Next, lack of parental guidance. So, parental guidance also affects the children because parents should guide their children, especially girls and boys, in making decisions that may affect or make different decisions that affect their perspectives in life. For example, because of the lack of parental guidance, a child may regret deciding the type of decision in a certain situation. Next, curiosity towards sex. So, curiosity towards sex is also a factor because when a child is curious about something, they want to do it or experience it in real life, but without knowing the consequences or effects of that problem if they undergo through it or experience it in real life. So this affects the child because without knowing the consequences and they undergo this sexual activity, they might get pregnant or infected by sexually transmitted disease. Next, rape. So rape is also a factor because being forced to have sex, especially if it is not safe sex, might get a girl pregnant. Next, exploitation by older men. So, the influence of older men can also affect a girl because they can brainwash them, they can deceive them to the use of their lustful thoughts or to the use of sexual activity or intercourse. Next, drugs and alcohol. This also affects the thinking of a child because they might make decisions unconsciously that may affect their lives afterwards. For example, you are drunk and you are not with anyone you could trust. You might get raped, or you might be too high to think right or think straight. You might jump into conclusions and do activities that you may regret afterwards. Next, limited access to birth control. So, in some states, condoms and birth controls are restricted to teenagers. So this is also a problem because without the access from these contraceptives, teenagers might get infected or pregnant because they don't have the equipment for safe sex, especially if they are going to undergo sexual intercourse. Next, we're going to talk about how to avoid these teenage pregnancies. So let's start by contraceptives. Contraceptives is a very good idea or the best way to avoid pregnancy. So contraceptives avoids the use of birth controls and condoms or the practice of safe sex. So this helps the children because they avoid STDs, they also avoid pregnancy, and they might also, avoid responsibilities in life. Next, sex education. sex education is the practice of safe sex and might be used in their life afterwards, especially if they are going to undergo sexual intercourse without the plans of getting infected or undergoing pregnancy. Next, parental guidance. Parental guidance is also a factor because with the help of your parents, with the help of understanding and awareness on sex or sexual intercourse or pregnancy, they might have a thought of avoiding this sexual intercourse because when listening to your parents, they might change your life. They know what are the responsibilities they will bear if they are getting pregnant, and they don't want their child to have a miserable yet suffering life. So, for me, teenage pregnancy should be stopped and controlled because teenage pregnancy can lead to many types of problems, especially in the Philippines. There are many types and cases in teenage pregnancy nowadays. So, teenage pregnancy can lead to poverty, can lead to different types of illnesses, especially in that of course in girls they can get illnesses that may affect their life, their performance, and sometimes they might stop from education, they might not finish their studies, which is a very very bad factor because without jobs, without a educational degree, they might not get the life they wanted, they might not get a work they wanted, and they will be forced to have low income for their family or low sustainability for the family. So teenage pregnancy should be controlled or reduced in some way because teenage pregnancy is not a very good idea, especially if you are unprepared, not ready for struggles or making decisions in life. They should be given more thought, especially nowadays, as of now, where social media can influence children. They can affect their mindsets, they can affect their beliefs that may affect their decisions in life. For me, we should be more open-minded in these types of issues. We should be more aware, we should be more enlightened because teenage pregnancy is not a joke. We should be more familiarized with these problems so that in the near future, when we encounter these types of problems, we know how to cope with them, we know how to handle with them, and avoid making the wrong decisions. That's all.